Alright, to my returning viewers, I'm sorry, but you're gonna see this screen a lot throughout January, and for my new viewers, I am hosting a giveaway on January 1st, but also every 1,000 subs I get, I'll add one Dazzler Pass to a February giveaway, so subscribe if you want to be a part of that fun, and let's get quite possibly the craziest video of the year on my channel started. I feel like the term power of a million suns has kind of been memed on quite a bit because Sentry has always been kind of bad, right? But I feel like the power of a trillion suns is the only way to describe how powerful Sentry is when he's fully decked out. So in my previous videos, I have had the Mr. Fantastic synergy, I've had Sentry by himself, but now I put together the final piece of this puzzle. I put the Aegon synergy. Now the Aegon synergy gives Sentry plus 1,000 crit rating and plus 1,000 crit damage rating, which he also converts into bonus attack rating. So Sentry is going to hit very hard, right? He is going to be one of the hardest hitting champions in the game. I honestly think he is the hardest hitting champion in the game flat out whenever he's fully decked out, because I want you to just see the fight time of this Airwalker matchup. It is genuinely the craziest thing you'll ever see all year. From these next 2 days at minimum, but honestly the rest of 2025 you will not see anything crazier than this fight right here, because this is genuinely baffling. This damage output is actually baffling, man. So we're about to enter the heavy attack phase. Here we drop the SP2, and let's see how good this damage is, right? We're gonna go in here, drop the heavy attack, no crits. But then we get a crit, and I had to readjust my eyes because that was over 93,000 damage, man. And that was about 70,000 burst damage as well. If that heavy attack fully crit, that was going to be a 300,000 plus heavy attack. For reference, a Realm of Legends fight has 549,000. If Sentry does 2 heavy attacks and they both crit, he will one-shot a Realm of Legends fight in 2 heavies. That is insane. That is genuinely crazy, man. 81,000 right off the rip right there. That's crazy strong as well. But that 93,000 heavy attack was unreal. That's what the heck, man. How is that even allowed? And that's on one hit of the heavy attack. He has 2 hits on the heavy attack. It can be even stronger. That is the craziest part about this champion. When you think of 83,000 heavy attack, you think of a 1-hit heavy, not a 2-hit heavy that can crit twice and do double the damage. But yeah, the fight's done, and that right there was a 2-minute and 35-second takedown of a Necropolis health pool fight. 2 minutes and 35 seconds, man. Some champions take 2 minutes plus to take down an Act 9 boss. This man does a full Necropolis fight in 2 minutes and 35 seconds. I have never once in my life seen a fight that fast before for that health pool and for that Airwalker. So yeah, this guy is genuinely absurd. I think he's gonna break a lot of records with fight time, because obviously this guy is just silly. He feels a bit unbalanced, right? That damage output I don't think any champion should have, but then again he does have balance because he has to ramp to get there. So this is just perfection, to be honest. I don't think it gets much better than this, right? Because yeah, the damage output's insane, but also there is a price to pay to get there. But once you pay that price and you ramp up Sentry, you are just literally laughing through what 13 fights in Necropolis, because turns out he can do Hitmonkey. I did do that fight with Sentry on this little run here. He can solo Hitmonkey, which is crazy. I didn't show it here because it's a bit longer compared to the other fights in this video, so I just wanted to get the shortest ones here. But his average fight time in this quest was 4 minutes. That's actually absurd, man. Having a 4-minute average fight time is just literally, you would think that he is in Labyrinth or something, but no, he is in Necropolis. He is in the hardest long form content in the game, and he's doing the fights in 4 minutes, some of them in 3 minutes, and one of them in 2 minutes and 35 seconds. That's just like, that's the power of Sentry, man. That's how strong this champion is. It's just genuinely so silly. And yeah, now we have this Captain Britain fight. No big deal. She's kind of straightforward, but then again, she does gimp your damage output with those exhaustions. However, Sentry just does too much damage, so it doesn't really matter all that much. Plus we have like that little bonus attack rating from the like the treasure Deadpooloid. That thing is so cute, man. Like, you know, it's just like, it pops up, it helps you out, and it's very, very easy. So it's just a nice little bonus to have for a fight. And yeah, it definitely did make this fight easier. Obviously, right, it's just a nice straight up attack rating increase, which Sentry does benefit from big time. But even without that, this would still be a 4-minute takedown, 100%, right? But yeah, it's still going very well so far. We're just ripping off 70,000 heavy attacks with the exhaustion, which is absurd, and like 80,000 without it. But yeah, this is it, man. Like, this is just Sentry, like, at his finest. Just dropping heavy attacks, spamming heavy attacks, and like the craziest part is you don't have to do much to get like this damage output from him. Like, you have to ramp up, but I'm talking about like in the fight once he's at 10 charges. He is the easiest champion to play in the game. You parry, you do heavy attacks, that's it. You don't even have to drop special attacks, you just have to heavy. Like, you can even heavy counter the opponent, you can do a medium into a stun, so like you don't have to parry them. There are so many different ways to ensure that you get that heavy attack off, and yeah, it's very easy to maintain his debuffs for that reason. Don't do what I did there though, that's not the smart thing to do. Like, of course I'm playing a bit riskier because I want to get those crazy fight times, which I do end up getting obviously, but it's better to just like play it safe. Just, you know, do the slow heavy, like the slow parry heavy if you want. He's a very safe champion to play. It's really hard to like mess up with this champion. And if you got him awakened, which honestly, hey, congrats, right? Like, that's not even bad in my eyes. If he's awakened, even if you do get hit, you have a 2-second indestructible, which is very, very nice to have, especially for like these hard-hitting Necropolis fights. But yeah, this matchup is almost done, and like we just barely got into like the red phase, so yeah, like he is literally doing these in about like one little rotation of the like the Necropolis node, and that was 4 minutes and 9 seconds. Still just like record-breaking fight time, like it just actually insane. But now we have Necropolis Psycho Man, and before like you watch this fight, I want you to guess if this is over or under 4 minutes. Keep in mind, this is one of the hardest fights in the Necropolis, right? A lot of people just time out to this fight with like the ideal options. So like 4 minutes would be unheard of, right? Like that's actually insane for this fight, and it's honestly impossible to do. But then again, we have the literal power of a million suns to back us, so maybe it is possible. Maybe Sentry can do the unthinkable and do this in under 4 minutes, which I am pretty sure has never been done before. I could be wrong, right? Like, I don't really follow Necropolis content too much, but that just sounds surreal. And it sounds like something that even Sentry can't do, right? Because I've done like, what, 6 minutes of this, like, on this guy. 6 minutes, very good. 4 minutes feels like unachievable, right? Because this guy is an 8 million health fight. Yes, this guy is like about 8 million health. He is one of the higher health pools in this piece of content. He is a very tough fight, because he has like just so many nodes that accompany him and so many challenges that can just pair really, really poorly with this control box. So he is not an easy fight, right? I'll say it plenty of times if I have to, but let's just see how this turns out, because I can't wait any longer. I have to see how good Sentry does here. They are dropped the heavy attack, and that does set me back a little bit because, yeah, the power lock is very annoying to deal with, but that's okay, because here I go back in, I drop the SP1, and then one more special attack 1, and we'll be in that final phase. We'll be in, like, you know, the heavy attack phase that just really ends the fight for most champions. And yeah, now it's time. Now we're in the heavy attack phase, and here's the game plan for this fight. I'm gonna drop the heavy attack while I'm not in the heavy attack control box phase. And once I enter that phase, I'm gonna not do any more heavy attacks, and then once I leave the phase, it's back to like doing heavy attacks, obviously. But that was 89,000 damage plus 70,000 burst damage, and then I forget my game plan. I just straight up just forget my game plan, and I do that. So yeah, that's completely on me. That's me just being an absolute muppet, but it's okay, cause now we're outside of the heavy attack phase of Psycho Man, so now we can just start dropping heavies like crazy, and the fight is essentially done, man. Like we're in the part where like we can just spam heavies and he can't do anything about it. And look at these beautiful 78,000 crits, but that's not even close to like the maximum. Let's keep it going. 82,000, 80,000 damage, more 78,000 crits, and this is just like surreal. Right, here we go back in, we drop the heavy attack into the relic, and yeah, then we drop the heavy attack one more time. 82,000, just like that. That was a full crit, so that was like 280,000 plus damage on the heavy attack, and this fight is going by so quickly. 82,000 again, cause why not? Let's keep it going. Go back in, 82,000. Another, like, he just crits so much because of that plus 1,000 crit rate. Like, people talk about the crit damage part of it, but having 1,000 crit rate as well means that you crit on those heavy attacks way more often, and that damage output is just absurd, right? Then I drop the relic into another heavy attack, and yeah, more 80,000 crits, and this fight is just about done. Very close to being done. Drops the SP1, that's okay. Cost me some fight time, but I don't care. And did I do the impossible? I did. 3 minutes and 57 seconds for that Psycho Man fight. I have never seen anything close to that fight time for that Psycho Man. That is absurd. That is genuinely just like crazy stuff. Doing that fight in the first place, very impressive. Doing it in like 6 minutes, very impressive. Doing it in 3 minutes and 57 seconds, that is genuinely one of the craziest things I've seen in this game. That does not feel allowed, right? That does not feel legal, bro. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy damage output. But yeah, here we have this Tigra fight. And I think that was our peak, right? You know, doing that Psycho Man fight in like, what, 357? I don't think it gets much better than that. But now we have this indestructible necrotic boon, or like, it's like the trap node, so close enough. Very annoying to deal with, but Sentry still really doesn't care, because like, he can just play around it pretty well. But after this fight, we have one that honestly is very important because it might be a revenge matchup, but more on that in just a little bit. Gotta get through this Tigra fight first, which does go very well, to be fair. Like, she is very straightforward with Sentry, at least, so like that's good. Yeah, here we go back in though. We're in the medium attack phase, so our medium attacks are doing like 59,000 damage plus the burst damage. 59,000 mediums is crazy, obviously. Like, that's like, I don't really appreciate that state enough, like, you know, the state of like the mediums and light attacks, but yeah, it's also very powerful. I can solo Chavez with like, you know, the mediums and light attacks only, and it's very straightforward, and it's like honestly just as easy as spamming the heavy attacks, because doing the mediums and lights, you just do like regular combo hits, which is very common, and you do that all the time in the game. So yeah, this man is just so easy to play no matter what mode you're in. And by the way, 91,000 heavy attack, and also some massive power sting damage, man. It's my first time bringing up the power sting in this video, but yeah, the power sting is still there, and it still does a lot of damage per special attack. 89,000 on the crit there, but then it's like 80,000 damage as the power sting damage. So that's like essentially you crit once, they drop the special attack, you crit twice. That's very good. Like, that is very, very good power sting damage for sure. He honestly becomes like one of the strongest power sting champions in the game just because of that synergy, which is crazy because like usually power sting characters only do power sting damage, right? But no, this man is still ripping 300,000 plus heavy attacks, plus doing that like 80,000 power sting damage. So yeah, man, that's just like, that's the power of like a quadrillion suns at that point. But yeah, nothing I'm not used to anymore. Like, I've played this guy a ton. I am not surprised by any of this damage output. This guy is just like that powerful, and you'll get used to it too once you like play him. Like, you'll do like, what, 4-minute Necropolis fights? Yeah, that's just Sentry. You do like 21-second mini bosses in Alliance War. A little bit of a teaser for an upcoming video, but that's just Sentry doing his thing. Yeah, that's right, he also crushes Alliance War, but that should be kind of obvious given the fight time he has in like these 8 million health fights. Yeah, Alliance War, that's a whole different story, man, but like literally 21 seconds for like a mini boss fight. That's absurd. Like that's just not allowed in like anywhere. That shouldn't be allowed, but you know, that's just they brought this guy into the game, so that's just like, they got to deal with him now. They got to plan around him, I guess, because if you don't plan around him, he is way too dangerous, and the fight's over with some 87,000 crits, and that was 4 minutes and 2 seconds. That was an 8 million health fight, by the way. But now it's time to get my revenge. So when I first did a Sentry video, I did 11 out of 14 solos, and one of these solos that I couldn't do was Hercules, because I simply just played it wrong, and anyway, I was going to like run out of charges before he was down. So I was like, you know what, man? I'm getting my revenge on this Hercules, because this is like full power Sentry. This is the Sentry that he has never even come close to, right? Like, this is a different level of power. This is full power Sentry, and he is one of the strongest champions in the game. So I think this Hercules is in severe danger, because yeah, not many champions are stronger than Sentry at his max power. And honestly, like, that makes me happy. That makes me really happy that he is just this overpowered, like, when he's fully ramped up. Because, you know, this is Sentry. He's a powerful champion. He's a powerful character in the comics. And to say he was done justice is, like, an understatement, if you ask me. Because, yeah, you don't really see this power with any other champion in the game. So they definitely made him unique. And they made him, like, you know, stand out in this game, for sure. But here I dropped the SP1, and now we're like almost in the phase where we can do our heavy attacks, do our crazy damage, and we'll be absolutely chilling. Drop the relic into the heavy attack here. Yeah, looking pretty good so far. But the thing with this Hercules, and I forgot, like, I have to actually cover this fight because I've never covered it yet, because this guy always had my number, but not anymore, because we have the full power Sentry. So what this Hercules does is whenever you finish a special attack, he gains a protection, right, of 30% potency, stacks up to 3 times, so up to a 90% damage reduction. You have multiple ways to remove it, and they're honestly pretty easy ways. However, in the later phases of this fight, whenever he finishes a special attack, he gains a protection as well. So it's not just your special attack in the later phases, it's his as well. So that's what makes it really tough in the later stages of the fight. However, one bonus that Sentry has towards this fight, just have to check out his recording real quick, but yeah, one bonus Sentry has in this fight is the fact that he never throws a special attack once he's in his ramped phase. So we get rid of any worry for our special attacks, because we just never throw them, right? So that's the important part in this fight for Sentry. He never has to worry about the protection on his end. It's just on Hercules' end once we get to that second stage of the fight. But now that we're there, it's time to just start going in and start doing our damage output. And let's just hope that the crits crit, because yeah, that's very important in this matchup, because he will just be taking like no damage otherwise. But an 82,000 crit to start off this second phase, you'll love to see that, man. That's so good. That is so powerful. Go back in. Yeah, 80,000 again. That's absolutely perfect. Here he drops the SP, nothing, because he is being very stingy. Let's see if he does it this time. He does. Go back in, drop the heavy attack. No crits, but that's okay because the protection was up anyway. But now this is where it gets dangerous because he's trying to stack those protections. So I have to get rid of them very quickly, or else he will just like have 3 protections, which is a 90% damage protection, man. Like, that's crazy. This fight can go out of control very, very fast, but thankfully Sentry has it in check, and he's doing 80,000 heavy attacks. That's crazy stuff, man. But this is where it gets very scary, because once we are in the root phase, it's very hard to like fully dex his SP1, and if you like miss any part of the dex, he will one-shot you because he just does so much damage, right? But yeah, 80,000 heavy attacks. He is getting completely destroyed now. It feels like it's over, but it's not really over yet because this can just go south very quickly. But yeah, we're close. I can smell victory, and I can smell the revenge the revenge matchup, because yeah, this guy, he ruined my runs so many times, but not anymore because we have full power Sentry right here. Here he drops the SP1. That's a lot of block damage though, so that's very scary, but we're making progress. We're getting rid of those protections. 80,000 damage per heavy attack still. This is like the battle of the beast, man. This is two just absolute monsters going at it. But yeah, here he drops the SP1. That's a lot of block damage still, man. We were taking that to the chin. It hurts for sure. And now he's at 1%, so I have to be careful, because if I like let him throw a special attack while he's fully unblockable, oh, that's dangerous. That is so dangerous. But now it's getting very close, and he is not dropping that special attack for some reason. And yeah, it's a bit down to the wire, and the debuffs will fall off. That's okay. I wanted that to happen because I didn't want to like do too much damage. But yeah, now it's like, okay, this is just down to the wire. He's immortal now, which is good for us because we don't have to bait out a special attack. So yeah, very good for us in this scenario. And here I dropped the SP3. I could have dropped it sooner to get rid of the immortality, but I didn't realize that at the time. And there we go, revenge matchup done. What a challenge. Still like 5 minutes, which is pretty good. But yeah, I've really enjoyed playing this champion. He's just like an absolute blast to play. The damage output is just out of this world, like some of the best in the game. And he's just been surprising me like every single day. So I hope that he's done the same for you. Like, maybe your eyes are now opened with like just how powerful this guy is. Maybe you don't like him still, that's okay. But you know what, man? He's just going to keep doing his thing. So let me know your thoughts on Sentry, and yeah, that's about it for me.